Okay, we cap radio, bong hits and cameos. That's a perfect ratio. Yeah, let's get high and watch a movie, blowing bomb haze. Me and my fiance, we cap all day. Let's get high and watch a movie.
Oh, welcome back to Weed Cap Radio. I'm your host, Caleb. With me, as always, my fiance, Lauren. Lauren, say hello to the folks at home.
Hey, guys.
And then we have a very special guest this evening. If you enjoyed the intro music, say hello to one Mr. Crack Amico.
Yo, Weed Cap Radio. What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to talk about a movie that I had never seen before today, which I love. It's kind of weird. I like Scorsese movies. They're some of my favorite. Love Casino, love Goodfellas, and just for some reason had never seen The Departed. So
yeah, I had seen it before. Lauren had not really seen it. I got to tell you, I enjoyed. There's nothing I love more than a movie based like entirely around a stereotype. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
It was fantastic. And you got a real like who's who of pieces of shit in this movie too. Like, you know, like you got Mark Wahlberg, you got Matt Damon, who by all accounts is like a normal guy, but I can't fucking stand him. And Leonardo DiCaprio frankly rocks. Are you familiar with Leonardo DiCaprio's preferred method of having sex?
Isn't it that he puts in earbuds and listens to podcasts?
Yeah, he actually listens to Weed Cap Radio. A lot of people don't know that, but that's the only way he can come is if he puts in earbuds, and he also vapes like pretty heavily.
Yeah.
I've only been doing the show for like 2 minutes and I feel like I'm going to come already. So I understand.
Perfect. I'm going to grab some tissues. I'll be right back. Yeah. I mean,
Leo rules in this movie.
Oh, his performance in this movie is one of the best, maybe of all time. And honestly, like he's probably the only character I feel that's like, yeah, I don't know, like rooted in reality, because the rest of them feel pretty comic bookish.
Yeah.
Right.
But and then you realize it's based on a Japanese movie. Like it's like a scene for scene take. Yeah. I don't know what subsect of people in Japan they ripped Boston off for. Like there has to be some subsect in Japan where they're like, oh, those guys are like violent pieces of shit. And then they went to the drawing room and they're like, where do we put them? And they're like, Boston.
Yeah, I guess you'd figure it's probably some kind of Yakuza, and they just, I guess Scorsese saw it and was like, I want to turn this into a Boston crime story. But I was wondering that because I know Scorsese, a lot of his, if not all of his movies are based on some type of literature that he's read and wanted to make into a movie. So I didn't look it up, but I was wondering what it was based on. I never would have guessed that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's some sort of like, there has to be. Also, if we can just take a minute. Fucking Japan calling all of their neighborhoods prefectures. I love that.
What is a prefecture?
No one fucking knows. No one knows. They call all of their like areas prefectures, or their like neighborhoods. You know, it would be like the Yuksukdoi prefecture or whatever the fuck. And it's fantastic. It sounds really classy. But you have to imagine there's like a group, you know, because we have the Irish mob. Are there different Yakuzas?
That's a great question. I actually don't know.
I would love to know.
I wouldn't know that.
Well,
I'd figure there's probably different families, sort of like the Italian mafia. It's probably like different families of Yakuza.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But that's a complete guess. I'm talking out of my ass. So
no, you're fine. I'm just like, I mean, it's really hacky to say, but like, it's probably way harder to tell them apart than like American crime families.
Oh, 100%.
You're like, they have to have like secret signals or something, you know? Like in America, you just look and you're like, oh, that's a WAP, or oh, that's a whatever it may be. I mean, you look at some of the people in this movie and you go, oh, Irish.
Well, they also have accents.
Oh, the accents are like absolutely fucking crazy. The whole movie's basically like a Dunkin Donuts commercial.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Like, I specifically really, really enjoyed like the homoeroticism of the police academy, because no one ever talks about that. Like you go to a police academy, you're building camaraderie. There's going to be some homoeroticism. And then what did they do? What did Scorsese do?
I don't know.
Threw him into a rugby scrum.
That was with the firefighters.
They're playing each other.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was very homoerotic, I guess.
Because
I was turned on.
well, that makes two of us. I just feel like there's not another sport that's more homoerotic because number one, you have first of all collared shirts in a sport. That's incredibly. Do you know what I mean, Crack? I mean, like no other. Everyone else is rocking jerseys. They're rocking like striped polos, and then all of the terminology around rugby is pretty like one letter removed from like a sex act.
Yeah, the collared shirts is a little weird. It kind of reminds me of how like you ever see, well, I don't know where you guys are from, but in
Baltimore.
my neighborhood sometimes. So yeah, you probably got it in Baltimore too. I'm in North Carolina, but like sometimes you'll go out and you'll look out the window or you'll go out in your neighborhood and everybody, if they're out walking, is wearing like, you know, like gym clothes, like a t-shirt, gym shorts. And then you might see like an Indian man or usually a few Indian men walking together and they're all just wearing whatever they were wearing that day. There was no thought put into like, okay, we're going to put our clothes on, like our breathable clothes that we sweat in. They just, whatever they wore to the call center that day, that's what they're rocking on the street.
Striped shirt.
Yeah, I used to work in a body shop beside this company called Saft, and they made batteries that they would put on like SpaceX rockets and stuff. So like the diversity there was crazy, and it was across from a field. And on lunch, they would all take their shoes off, no matter what nationality, mostly Indian. They would take their shoes off and they would go play soccer across like in the street in full suits.
What?
I swear to God, when I worked in Hunt Valley, they would just be like, they would take their lunch breaks and they would go out there. And number one, there's not a lot of Indian professional sports players. You know, like you think of naturally gifted athletes, Indians aren't at the top.
I can't think of a one right now.
I mean, like, I'm sure
they're out there.
There's some superstars in like British cricket or something.
Yeah, cricket is probably like a high percentage, but like in our sports, I can't think of any right now.
Yeah, me either. And you'd think there would be one kicker. There's always one kicker from like a weird, I don't want to say weird, but there's always one kicker from like
a distant country.
Yeah, from somewhere you don't expect. And there's not one single Indian kicker. It's crazy.
Yeah, we got Asian kickers. There's like Mexican kickers. But yeah, no Indians. They haven't made it yet.
No, they're plotting on us, and that honestly that keeps me up at night.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to take us so far away from Irish people all the way to Indians. We can get back.
Oh, that's
to the Irish.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The structure of the show isn't super tight, but yeah, we can get back to the movie. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I get a little off topic sometimes too.
No, that's all good. Yeah. So I mean, also like the whole time I'm watching this movie, like I've never met. Like you said, you're in the Carolinas. Do you have Irish people like this down there?
I mean, there's some pretty Irish people, but the South and the Southeast is made up of a lot of Scots Irish people. That's like a good makeup of kind of what I am, is like Scots Irish. So it's kind of like a mutt blend down here, whereas it seems like in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, it seems like purebred Irish people.
Yeah, like bloodlines. Like our Irish people in Baltimore, they're just wearing like acid wash jeans and Affliction t-shirts. So like to see like real unadulterated Irish in this movie, I feel like I've been lied to my whole life. And then the whole time we're watching the movie, I was like, what would this be like if it took place in Baltimore? And it, like when Alec Baldwin, another piece of shit, although hilarious guy, but like not super nice to his daughter over like
and just crushes every role he's in. He's just another guy that anytime you see him pop up, it's kind of like a Buscemi kind of thing. It's like anytime you see his face in a movie, even if the movie sucks, you're like, I'm still gonna watch it just to see what he does. Oh
yeah, I mean he's fantastic. I just I wouldn't want to be his daughter. That's all. Yeah,
or his whatever the fuck camera woman or whatever that was. R.I.P.
Yeah. I believe she was an armorer, which is a made up job. I mean, like anybody could be an armorer. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about guns, but like apparently neither did she.
That's messed up.
But I mean, like, I was trying to think, like, if this movie took place in Baltimore, like, what would it look like? And it would be like Alec Baldwin calling them all into a fucking room, and instead of being like, we've got $1 million worth of microprocessors that Costello's moving, he'd be like, hey, yo, fuck it is, dummies, listen up. We got Costello moving $45 worth of diabetic test strips. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
That part was a little, like you said, like comic booky. That part was a little wacky. Like, it was I thought overall good movie, and I love the characters, I love the actors in it, but some parts of the plot, like you said, like the Chinese microprocessors was just like such a 2006 like bad guy plot.
Oh, for sure. Like, I was waiting for like a Nokia ad to pop up or something in the background. Like, it was a real K-Swiss movie. Like, it felt like Friday Night SmackDown, or it used to be Thursday Night SmackDown, I believe, back then.
That's right.
But I just, like, the movie itself was so sick. Like, the characters were fantastic. But then you're right, like, through every once in a while, there would be something that popped up that I'd be like, well, I don't understand how this is fitting into it. Like, they could have just made it drugs, and like, it almost felt like maybe adding the Asians buying the microprocessors was like contractually written into the sale of the intellectual property that Scorsese took from the Japanese people.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe they were like, yeah, you can have this, but we're going to need some representation.
Yeah, or I know the Chinese and the Japanese don't like each other, so they were like, you can have this movie if you make the Chinese look evil, which they are.
Yeah, I know I did. Like, I was doing like some research for this, and I was going through the IMDb trivia, and it turns out like they actually couldn't, when the Asian, like the microprocessor thing was being filmed, they actually had to move Mark Wahlberg off location because he kept attacking them with a kendo stick.
Yeah, I wonder if they even let them know that he was going to be in that movie. I feel like the Asian community would have had an issue with him being in that movie, especially as aggressive as he played the role that he played.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, no, we got the script back, got the casting choices, everything's fine, but who are you going to have play Indignum? Scorsese's like, we haven't figured that out yet. So maybe like a former boy band guy. And you know, throughout the movie, I couldn't help but notice he had a boombox on his shoulder and he kept playing Enter Sandman. And then he'd come in and cane them all with kendo sticks.
Yeah, when you see, and I loved Wahlberg. I loved Wahlberg in it too. And when you see him play a character like that, you're like, there he is. There's the kid who fucking was cracking Asian skulls on the fucking corner in Southie. That's him.
Absolutely. They were like Scorsese's giving everybody fucking notes, and he's like, Mark, you just keep being yourself, bud. Just fucking gave him a little knuckle sandwich on the chin. He's like, you just keep it up. You just keep doing what you're doing because it's working.
They're like, we actually didn't even write any dialogue for Mark. He just kind of improv'd everything.
What a fantastic! I'm going to be appropriating this line when the guy goes, "Who the fuck are you?" and he says, "I'm the guy who does my job. You must be the other guy." I can't wait to bust it out in a Teams meeting.
There were some good zingers.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, and you know, another thing. So I was like going through. We have a segment on the show called Hammer Check, which is where we try to find a dick pic from someone in the movie. Surprisingly, I couldn't find a single dick pic, but I did stumble across. You know who's got some fucking skeletons in his closet?
Who?
Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah.
Because you think this is just a dude who loves basketball. You know what I mean?
What?
This is a guy who's just ball his life. He's sitting courtside in the Lakers games all the time. He's hooping. He's yucking it up.
Jack Nicholson is very ball his life now that you mention it.
Oh my God. I mean, he's sitting courtside at the Lakers games wearing a starter tracksuit. It like all that dude knows is ball. He is the and one guy.
All right.
I'm just saying.
No, I believe you.
I swear to God, sometimes he would give the players feedback as they were like running by him. Like Jack Nicholson is like fucking coaching them up. Okay. And then you do a little digging into this fella. And do you know that he beat a woman so bad she's still retarded to this day?
Don't say that.
Oh no.
Yeah. in
That's fucked up.
Oh, and so like apparently his house in the Hollywood Hills was like a hub. Like, apparently he's a very big cocaine guy. And you know what? They just released that Charlie Sheen documentary.
Need to watch.
Yep.
And he's talking to some, like on the press tour, he's talking to some interviewer. I forget who the interviewer was. And he's like, I think it might have been fucking Joe Rogan, maybe. And he's like, yeah, like nobody can maintain cocaine. And then Charlie Sheen's like, there's one guy who just maintained it his entire life, and it's Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, I watched the same documentary and at least part of the Rogan episode, but that's what I was about to say is I knew that he partied, and I knew that from Charlie Sheen. That's where I learned it too.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I mean, like it kind of makes sense because he was like a leading man or whatever. But I'm 30. I know Jack Nicholson just as like an old man, but apparently like his house was like in Hollywood was like the hub, and like they would have to like carry hookers out and like leave them on the side of the road because they were beaten and
Is
like,
that who he beat? A hooker? The
Yeah.
lady of the night?
Jack Nicholson apparently, like, everybody has a thing.
Right.
His thing was to get like a bunch of cocaine and do it, and then just like ruthlessly beat a hooker. Not even fuck him.
Oh.
He would just like ruthlessly beat a hooker and then be like, all right, I'm done.
Damn. It almost seems like that you remember that random scene that went by really quick where he's like got the black lady on the bed and he like puts all the blow on the bed and he's like, there you go. Don't move and don't move until you're numb or whatever. That was probably just like a camcorder from his house that they just threw in the movie.
You're so right.
I am so glad you brought that up because so the IMDb trivia section for this movie is a treasure trove, and this is listed under a spoiler. The scene where Frank Costello throws cocaine on sex workers was one of many bizarre ideas contributed by Jack Nicholson himself.
Wow.
And so, number one, so they had to redo the casting of this movie when they're in the opera scene, because he was, they had two white women and he was like, Martin, something doesn't feel right. Something just doesn't feel right. And they were like, what can you do? He's like, bring me an African queen. And so he had a black lady on one side and a white lady on the other side, and he refused to shoot until they cast a black woman to sit beside him.
Interesting. That the scene that you're talking about, the opera scene, I found particularly beautifully shot, and just as the antagonist of the movie with the sort of red glow, the red background, kind of like the what would you call it? I guess like the symbolism of him being like satanic almost was kind of a beautiful shot.
Oh, for sure, dude. It definitely seemed like, because yeah, I mean, like it cast him like in an evil light and all that stuff. And like, even the music was like, anytime they played music for him, it was like, it had like a sinister undertone or something. Like everything about this movie, it's like very detail oriented, like, cause we get into it. Like there are some like ridiculous elements to it, but it never got too outlandish, which I thought was like kind of tasteful,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the music too, because something that I noticed when I watched probably my favorite series of all time, The Sopranos, which I've watched through many, many times. I noticed the same thing from Christopher's death in that movie. Sorry if anybody hasn't seen it. Spoiler alert, Christopher dies.
We've seen it so many times.
Sorry to the listeners, though.
Yeah.
Sopranos, though, you can assume most people die. Like most characters in The Sopranos will die, if not all. So the same thing from the episode where he died, they had the Comfortably Numb, and I don't know what it is about Pink Floyd and what songs they'll let people use, or if they just don't want any in movies, they don't want to monetize them outside of themselves. But anytime you hear, whether it was Sopranos or this movie, every time they play Comfortably Numb, it's some other generic tribute version. It's not the actual song.
Yeah, there's just like a really wailing guitar, like, and you're like, that sounds vaguely familiar. Like,
that's wild though. They won't release the rights.
And it's always it was odd in both cases to me. Like when they didn't get the clearance for the real Pink Floyd Comfortably Numb version for this and for Sopranos, it's like odd to me that they were like, well, we'll just do the tribute. It almost seems like if you couldn't get the real song, you would just look for a
Pivot.
different song there.
Yeah.
I mean that speaks to like maybe artistic integrity. They were like, I don't know, they were like this is the only thing that's going to work, so we have to try to like emulate it. But I mean, there was a lot of good instances of music in this movie, like when Jack Nicholson goes to call fucking Leonardo DiCaprio and he picks up his phone and like the music cuts off real quick. Like, there was a lot of like subtle background shit going on that was pretty nice.
Yeah, Scorsese's scores are always great, and his use of like classic rock, like the Gimme Shelter in this movie was a great theme.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I thought some of the like you said, like some of the comic bookness was almost kind of like made you think, wait, is this realistic? Because of the fact that it was Irish people and how like Irish people are sort of like pranksters and psychos, where he comes into the jerk theater to meet Matt Damon, and he like sneaks by him like an old guy in a jacket, and then he like pops up on him in front of him with like he's holding like the dildo or whatever, which I think that was a dildo. That wasn't supposed to be his dick, right? That was like a dildo. And then you go, well, why the fuck would he do that? And then you go, he is like an Irish sociopath. These people do play pranks on each other, and drink in the most important moments of their lives.
It's like a family reunion. The actually, that scene wasn't written in the script. That specific piece of that scene where he pulls the dildo out, that's Jack Nicholson's dildo. He brought that from home. And I swear to God, and he also like was like, I have to do this. Like they like a lot of the scenes with him. So like they had it was like they had like a very fucking tuned in, detailed script. And then anything with Jack Nicholson, they gave him like the Larry David Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they just gave him like a fucking like an outline, and he got to improv like a lot of that stuff.
Well, he killed it.
Yeah.
Oh, he absolutely killed it. Also, another fantastic scene is him in a robe in his fucking penthouse in Boston, fucking eating lobster and cleaning blood off of a hand.
Yeah.
Like, that could not have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that I noticed while I'm thinking about it too is just this is sort of like another mob style movie. And I think you mentioned the Italians earlier. I found it a little strange, like even in Scorsese's movies or mob movies in general, it's from the perspective always, I guess the police are another perspective, but typically it's from the perspective of the Italians in the mob. But in this case, you were almost given like the Irish perspective of Italians, and any time that Italians appeared in the movie, they were just getting bitched and chumped by the Irish guys. They were not intimidating whatsoever. They just treated them like shit.
You're so right.
Yeah, I mean that's a good observation, and I think we should treat all Italian people that way. If I'm being honest, I mean, like, we don't want to. I mean, Lauren's Italian. She comes from a very big Italian family, and a lot of them are cops. A lot of them are pieces of shit.
Yeah,
I said it. So I agree, and I honestly, if we had like a presidential candidate who campaigned on like, it's okay to sometimes treat Irish people differently, he would have my vote. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Italians are cool. They're typically like pretty smart, pretty cool people. I guess my only notes would be like maybe quiet down a little bit, and food is like not as big of a deal as you act like it is. But other than that, they're kind of at towards the top of my list of non-whites, which I don't consider them white.
Oh no,
I told you.
They're definitely not white, but you do have you must have a different breed of some sort of special like Reaper South Carolinian or North Carolinian Italians, because you said they were smart. All the Italian people I know are fucking dumb as a box of rocks.
Fuck you.
No, I'm not talking about you, sweetheart. I'm talking about your family.
Oh,
fucking retarded. But so if you had to list your non-whites, hit me with the top 4 and maybe why, if you don't mind. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Top 4 as far as like who I like, or like who's doing the best.
Mm.
I want to hear you're a guest. We want to hear your personal preferences.
Yeah, my preferred. Okay. Actually, I don't know. I might have to reorder this as I list these, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw Puerto Ricans on the board.
Okay.
Okay.
I like Puerto Ricans.
Yes.
The ones that I've come into contact with have been awesome. Let's see. Other non-whites. I don't consider Jews white, but they're not going on there.
Oh.
No. They're on a different list.
You know,
I mean, I agree with you. Puerto Ricans, hardworking people, typically salt of the earth kind of people. I'm not going to lie, and I don't want this to sound wrong, but one time a person from Puerto Rico did bring a Spam and pineapple salad to a function we went, and it kind of tainted me because I like Spam and I like pineapple, but they have no business together. And then it was like I was pressured into trying it.
It was good. Don't listen to him. It was good.
It was horrible.
No. It was good.
And it was like it was this is something that people from other cultures do, and as a white man I'm going to just go ahead and say they pressure you into trying stuff under the guise of like you have to because it's their culture. But if that thing that you want me to try is some fruit mixed with like mincemeat, fuck yourself. Canned ham, yeah. All
I
right.
agree.
Yeah, I mean that's just rude. So
yeah, I love a good like Spam, egg, and rice, but I don't need any pineapple in there.
Yeah, like the what are they called? Samoan people? No, is Samoa Hawaii?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Why are you saying no?
I don't
Lauren?
know. I have no idea.
Samoa is so Hawaii. Like Samoa Joe, I'm pretty sure he's from like Honolulu or some shit.
Who's that?
Don't ever
He's
say that again.
Supposed to be at least.
Yeah.
That's where he's billed from.
The Hawaiian people took Spam and they used it as a vessel for other delicious things like rice and whatever else they put on that shit. No, it's not mayonnaise and canned fruit. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
So we got Puerto Ricans on the list.
Despite that, the Puerto Ricans will stay there. I guess, Italians. My best friend is Italian.
Okay.
And I'll even throw this kind of a wild card. I'll throw the Filipinos on there.
Oh.
Never met a bad one. Very nice, very polite, very good at singing.
All of them. They're all good at singing.
Dude, they're like the karaoke capital of the world. If you when you get off today, if you have a moment, just type in YouTube, type in Filipino or Philippines karaoke, and there will be no shortage of videos of like just a 50-year-old, like 110-pound Filipino man singing Whitney Houston better than she can.
What?
Oh, I'm gonna have to absolutely get on that.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to.
I need to see that.
I've been looking to stuff to add to the spank bank, and that sounds right up my fucking category, dude. I got a bad taste of karaoke.
When have you done karaoke?
I haven't done karaoke, Lauren. But so real quick, I used to do stand up, not a long time ago. I got hired to do this person.
Thank you for your service.
No, yeah. I mean, look, I'm not a civilian or anything. So I used to, anyways, a long time ago, I got hired to do a private party and Lauren came with me and we thought it was like a sex cult.
Yeah.
But it turns out it was like these 50-year-old people who just go around and do karaoke.
Yeah. I
added the one guy on Facebook and he still will send me videos of him doing karaoke. And it's just him like he'll send me and this is a guy who's 300 pounds, ponytail down to his ass, like the kind of guy who's got an Indian person's, but like
he's also balding,
like a Native American ponytail, like a John Redcorn ponytail, and it goes halfway down his back. And like every 3 months, he'll be like, "This is me singing Seal, like Kiss from a Rose or whatever." So every time I hear karaoke, but that I don't want to see a white man sing karaoke. I would absolutely love to see some Philip. No, he was pretty fucking bad. I mean, it was kind of atrocious.
He's not even good.
No. He's not good at all. Like,
he was a music teacher.
Yeah. First of all, my gym teacher was an 80-year-old woman named Miss Herbert who was 250 pounds, and she wore compression socks and would it took everything out of her to blow the whistle. So you don't have to be proficient in something to teach it, because if you were proficient in it, you would do it for a living.
Oh.
You're not a teacher, are you, Crack? I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
I try not to be around children at any time.
Yeah,
Same.
they're terrible. We couldn't agree
We
with
hate
you more.
kids.
Absolutely hate kids. And then you get a friend who has a kid, and then it's nothing but pictures of it. You know, it's one of the worst things.
Yeah, I mean, now that I say that, you know, if it's like my family or my nephew, that's cool. But like just random children, I try and stay away. Nothing good is going to come of that interaction.
No, you want to stay away from it. Is that like government mandated, or is that just a personal choice?
That's just my choice.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to get on the right. You know, we're gonna the listeners going to be asking. I just wanted to clear that up for you. No, and you know something else that I really enjoyed about The Departed, if I'm being totally and completely honest, Jack Nicholson's wardrobe.
Oh yeah.
I mean, talk about a debonair playboy. Because that's the whole point of so in this movie, he had done so many drugs, he had so much sex that the only thing that brought him pleasure was wearing like red silken robes around his house. That's the kind of, like, everybody thinks being rich is like, I don't know, buying a Tesla and like, you know,
A big house.
Real wealth is living in like a penthouse and just being adorned in silk constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the finer things.
Yeah, and he seemed like, I didn't see one in his apartment, but you know those like Japanese trifold room dividers? I could feel they were in his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta look into getting one of those. I mean, do you own any robes there, Crack?
Yeah, I just have one. It's just from Amazon. Nothing special.
Hit me with the link when we hang up. Is that terry cloth or silken?
It's some type of just like soft cloth. I do want to, as I become, you know, rich, which is inevitable, I will stack up. I will start. That will be one of my collections. A nice robe, like silk robes, kimonos, like
Yes.
Yeah.
have a closet full one day.
Oh, for sure. And I do agree that wealth is right around the corner for you, because real quick, you're killing it. We're huge fans.
Hell yeah.
Everything you do is fantastic. And I would go so far as to say a lot of my friends, I believe, know you for your, you know, like comedic stuff. I to be honest, So High is my favorite thing you've done. And it's not really, I mean, you have like crazy lines in it, but like, it's not like a diss track or something. Like, are you, as you move forward, are you looking to focus more on like not diss tracks? Like, I'm just curious how you, like, you know, what your path forward is.
Well, first, let me say I appreciate the compliment, and I think that we're all going to be very rich very soon. Recap Radio 420.69 is undeniable, if you ask me. But moving forward, man, I think you know, here, let me 2024, right? And I had already been, if you've kind of been like following my trajectory or whatever.
Yeah.
From as far back as like LA is gay, I've been fucking with the comedians, right?
Yep.
And then 2024 started off with Cat Williams dissing all those comedians, and from that moment and that reception of that, I was like, I'm going fucking hard on being a hater this year. I'm hitting everybody who fucks up as far as comedians go. And that was when,
yeah, you killed it.
yeah. So this year started out with that just a little bit. And I still want to, if anything happens in comedy, like I'm sort of not sure it's going to drop yet. I want it to, but I'm still making the bones of it. Working on a song right now for the Riyadh Comedy Festival.
Okay.
So anytime something happens in comedy, I'd still like to, if I have something to say about it, make a song about it. But this year I've kind of been more like waiting for some topical shit to go down and seeing if I can make a song about that to try and like expand the reach a little bit, like the Portnoy one, the Cracker Barrel one, like trying to get in some new people that don't just like hate Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, you know? So now I'm trying to just expand the audience, take advantage of the topicality. I definitely need to make more just maybe not even non-comedy, but non like topic focused songs like So High, where I'm just like putting out bars. It's just tough. Like it's fun to be funny on songs once I figured out that was a possibility. So I'm kind of addicted to that. But what I'm trying to say is I'm just trying to build up, and keep putting out like topical shit online or shit that people listen to, keep the numbers going up, keep the subs going up. And I do envision, what I have in my head right now, this could completely change, but I was thinking at like 50,000 subs, announcing the title of an album, and at 100,000 dropping that album, and that being like my first studio album. And with almost, I guess you could look at maybe like Eminem or somebody like that, like Slim Shady back in the day, as an influence. But I'd just like to be a guy that, like, I make an album, it has a concept to it. Some of the songs might be topic focused, some aren't. Some might be funny, some might not be, some might be mean, some might even be sad. But just, it's kind of just, you don't know exactly what you're going to get, but you respect the music, so you're down for the ride. Just like Eminem will have a song where he's like talking about the Limp Bizkit bastards, but then he's talking about like, when I'm gone, just carry on. Like, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. So right now the whole game is just, trying to build the numbers up. And then I do one day just want to be able to be just an artist that people are checking for. And like, when I drop a song, you're like kind of wondering, that almost be kind of the fun part, is like, people are going to be wondering, what version of Crack are we going to get on this one? So that's like the ultimate goal,
I like that.
Yeah, that's a fucking the subscriber or the album title and the album. That's like a fucking great idea. And I mean, like, this is gonna sound gay, but I mean, you really like that. Like, you already have that. Like, part of the fun is like, when I see like you upload something, I'm like, oh shit, what is this gonna be? And you also, if I'm being honest, float effortlessly. I don't want to turn this into a jerk fest, but I mean, sorry about that. But you do, like, on Return of the Crack, like, it starts out, you just bars, and then it goes into that. Like, you're definitely well on your way. I guess what I'm trying to say is,
fangirling.
I'm not fangirl. I'm looking forward to lounging in kimonos with you some years down the road.
Yeah. And that's okay. I actually like really like when people are nice to me. So that's cool with me. Yeah. I'm glad that makes sense. I was yapping for a minute there. I'm glad that makes sense. But yeah, and I think, next year, like you said, like Return of the Crack, I kind of did it a little bit, like kind of turned up the effort a little bit, because I'll be honest with you, I have not dropped a song yet where I tried 100%. I'm still, like, I guess, retaining some factor of, I guess, like, effortlessness or trying to be cool. But like, if I don't make some shit pop by the end of this year, next year is going to be about like really just becoming undeniable and like taking the effort up to an extremely high level where it's impressive, to the point where, I don't know, I've been waiting for somebody to call me to like offer to sell my soul. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I just figured I would have been like called by now,
Yeah, it is crazy.
It is
at
kind of
least
crazy.
be a prospect.
You haven't been like contacted by some like shadowy force, because I mean, you're killing it. I mean, it does seem like maybe it's around, you know what? Maybe they're listening right now. Maybe that's the one person on the live stream. We're trying the StreamYard thing. It's work. This is the first time we use StreamYard, but maybe it's right around the corner for you, man. I mean, you really, I'll tell you this, you're huge in Baltimore, and I'm not just paying lip service. Like a lot of my friends are still comics. Like, I think that you have a probably a wider reach than you know. Because I mean, like, I told a guy at work today that I was doing a show with you later, and I don't work in a like a creative industry, and he was like, "Oh shit, is that the fucking the Tom Segura guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's the Tom Segura guy." So I mean, you probably have more reach than gets back to you, and I think
He wasn't talking about Tom Segura, was he?
No. He was talking about the Two Bears One Grave.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Maybe I could go do like a show up there or something. I got a nice little base in Philly, which is actually mostly just my friends, like the comics there. And of course in New York with Skanks and Gas Digital and all that. But that's the big goal too, is to get the subs up enough, get enough people listening where I can actually go out and do some shows and tour a little bit, because that's where the money is with with entertainment, is, you know, live shows.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could definitely. I think you would definitely do well here. I mean, like no doubt. I mean, we'd be there. Are you? There seems to be some overlap. Not overlap, but within like the because they're like, you're not like I wouldn't consider you a comedy rapper. You're just an artist. Same with them. But do you have like contact with the Palmer Squares, or you guys just kind of run in the same like comedy adjacent circle, or?
Palmer Squares, those guys rule.
Sure.
If you've ever heard of a guy Jarv, I met him too, performing with them at Skankfest. But I guess the deal with Palmer Squares has just been, I met them the first Skankfest that I did, and you know, just chilled with them. They were cool. So now every time I see him at Skankfest, usually if I see him, I'll hang with them as long as, I guess, until one of us goes back. But we're like, I guess, the rappers, so we stick together. But no, they're very cool, and they've carved out a nice little living and touring for them. And I've told them, you know, if you guys ever come out my way, just let me know. Like, I'll come open up or whatever. But I don't know, man. I'm not that big in like the local scene, and I haven't been like hitting open mics locally or touring or doing live music for like a long time. So I just don't have those connections, really. I'm sure I could make it happen, but it's just definitely a part of my game that I'm lacking on. Everything inside, like the studio and editing and shit, I'm killing it. Everything that involves going outside and like making eye contact with people, not doing so hot.
No,
We'll get there.
Yeah, you know what? Jarv actually did our first. We actually, he didn't like make it for us like you did, but I messaged him like a year ago, and I was like, "Hey, can we use one of your songs for our show? This is what our show is." And he was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he's a badass dude. I've shared a couple messages with him. That would be like a stacked lineup of all you guys together. That'd be sick.
Yeah, Jarv is the man. I've anytime he comes to Raleigh, I come and see him, and I don't know why the fuck I do, because every time I do, I'm like, what the fuck am I even doing? Like, he's rapping. He's like, this is rap. He's rapping. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That dude is fucking incredible.
Oh yeah. No, he's great. And I think you're right up there with him. I think you guys that would be like an absolutely stacked lineup. I know you're going into like you've been doing more of the streaming and stuff. Is that something you plan to continue to do, like as you continue to work on the music and everything?
Yeah, 100%. The way that it kind of works weirdly, and I'm finding more ways to make money with the music, you know, like custom songs and stuff like that. That's actually, custom songs is the best money when I can book them. But yeah, the streaming is good because with a lot of my songs, whether it be the content or the fact that I don't make my beats, so I don't own the beats, it's kind of hard for me to actually monetize my music. And even with the distribution and stuff, it doesn't add up to very much. So I make a little bit, you know, it's definitely like a revenue stream from my music, but the streaming has actually been more lucrative. So kind of like the operation lately has been like, make the songs, get more subscribers, and then if I can get people to be enough of a fan that they like my music, then maybe they'll funnel into the streams. And then the streams, I'm live and I like freestyle. I take beat requests from people. So I actually make some decent money on the streams compared to the music.
Nice.
Hell yeah, dude. And do you have any other like creative outlets that you're working on or anything like that? Like, I know you're just like an artist in like the true sense of the word. Do you make all of the visuals for your music videos, right?
Yeah, I do. I do everything but the beats. So like if I wanted to make a song, I'd go on YouTube, I'd find a beat that I like, I would lease that beat, and then from there I write to it, I record it, I engineer it, mix it, and then I edit a video together, which I started doing out of necessity, basically, when I started this whole Crack Amico thing. And it was a combination of needing, like, wanting to have a visual element to my stuff and not wanting to pay anybody else or work with anybody else that wouldn't see my vision. I got very frustrated, and I think a lot of it's on me with a lot of the projects that I have. I can be a little controlling and kind of a perfectionist. So I had a lot of, and in my 20s, I was also an alcoholic drug addict. So that probably was actually the majority of my issues. Probably, I probably remember it a little bit differently, but I did not have a lot of good experiences working with other people like engineers or videographers when I was a younger artist. So I kind of took it upon myself to just do everything myself, and it's cool because I get exactly what I want, but it's also hard because every project that I work on, I just know how much fucking work it's going to be from start to finish.
Yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, the payoff has to be like super rewarding though, right? Like when you make something and then it's like celebrated wide over, like that's got to feel incredible. Is the video element, I would imagine so, but I'm also a fucking idiot. Is the video element like the most time consuming, like to cut the videos together with the music and find the source material?
It can be, and it typically is if I film, because I've had to get better at filming videos. And when I say film, like when I'm in the video, like 1776 or a video where I'm actually in it. I've had to learn how to not do so many takes, because then when you're in editing and you have 30 minutes of takes or an hour of takes, you got to sit down and watch it all. And me, like, I want the best takes, so I'm going to watch all of my footage and like take notes and like split different areas I want to keep and stuff like that. So I've had to get better at just, turn the camera on and let's get some money takes. So I'm not rolling an hour of footage and then editing takes forever. So it takes a long time when I'm in the video. When I'm not, when it's just an edit, I pretty much I look at my lyrics, I go on my computer, and whether it's videos, like screen records or pictures, I just go in and look at my lyrics and I gather all of my clips and all of my images. And once I have them, I just go in and I create it. I just edit it. So those can actually be pretty quick. I think the most daunting, what usually takes me the most time in between, is knowing that there's a song that I want to make and actually finding the right beat, finding the right hook, and then working up whatever the opposite of laziness is to actually write it good and be happy with what I wrote. To me, that's the most difficult part. And it's actually what I think I'm best at, ironically, in everything that I do, is my writing, is my lyrics. And it's the part where I procrastinate the most. It's the part where I get the most anxiety, because I'm scared of that bar and not getting back over it. I know how important the writing is. So that's been a big thing I've been trying to work on here too, as I try and go full time with this, is almost trying to have more of a blue collar approach with my writing, instead of just being like the gay artist who's like lying around meditating, like waiting for the sun to hit the perfect way. And, oh, I feel the urge to write now. It's the time. It's being channeled through me. It's like, no, dog, just sit down like a 9 to 5 and fucking write. If you don't like it, save it for something else. I need to get more discipline with my writing. That's the toughest part for me.
I gotcha. When you were saying that, I had an image of Chris Collingsworth going, now here's a guy who just pulls himself up by his bootstraps and writes some fucking bars. So as you're branching out and moving forward, do you have any plans to make your own beats, or is that just something like you're not interested in that? Or
I really I wish that I did. And if I can find, I don't know, I guess I would just kind of need somebody to help me out with that and get me on the right machine and get me on the right program where I'm making some shit that, here's the thing, I don't have time for the learning curve. I don't have time. Mm-hmm. I have time to learn how to make beats. I don't have time to learn how to get really good at making beats where they're as good as the beats that I'm using. Sure. And maybe I do. Maybe I could just be doing that in the background, but it's like my priorities are so, like, there's still stuff that I need to do in this studio that I wrote down on a list when I moved into this place like 7-8 months ago that I still just have not even fucking touched. So but no, I definitely, it's a big regret of mine. I wish when I was a teenager, when I started doing this shit, that I would have immediately started fucking around with beats, because I'd be making more money and I'd own all my shit. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, when you first started rapping, you say you started as a teenager. When you first started, was there always like an inkling of like, hey, I'm a funny dude, I'm probably gonna try to incorporate some, because to be honest with you, and I'm saying this as a white guy from Baltimore, so it probably means nothing, but a lot of times it seems like a lot of specifically hip hop artists or rappers, they don't incorporate any, and it comes any humor into their stuff, and it comes across being like I don't want to say ungenuine or something, but like there's something really special about an artist who can rap but then also make someone laugh. Has that always been something that came easy to you, or is that something you've learned to adapt to? Or
it's always been like sort of incorporated, because I grew up like listening to people that I've heard be funny in songs, like Eminem, like Kanye, like guys that were not necessarily like comedy rappers, but they would say shit in songs that would make you laugh. But when I started rapping, I wasn't like I wouldn't say I was like a nerd. Definitely wasn't like a preppy kid or anything like that, but I was extremely quiet. I mean, from being a kid really to now, every year has been like trying to come out of my shell a little bit more socially. And I thought I was doing a pretty good job of it in my 20s, but it turns out drinking and drugs was just my personality. So I kind of had to restart when I got sober. I was kind of right back to that quiet kid again.
The choir here, buddy.
Yeah. So I was really fucking quiet. So almost part of the humor of it when I was a freshman in high school, was 14, and I was this kid at a new school where I didn't really know many people. Part of the humor in it, I think, whether it was the fact that I was white or I was so quiet, was the fact that I was rapping.
Sure.
Like, I think a lot of people were like, yo, that kid's rapping, and it's actually like kind of good. That's funny. So I think people, like the older kids at school, wanted to like pass around my CDs and shit, because they knew, oh, it's that quiet kid on the team, but he's like rapping and it's kind of good. So it was kind of funny, but they kind of liked it. But I think the number one thing, I wasn't necessarily trying to be funny. I think I had some funny bars here and there. I was so concerned with people thinking that I was good and that I should be doing it. That was like the number one priority, was like, I want people to think that this is good, whether they laugh at it, if they're listening to it and they think it's good and they're laughing with me, not laughing at me, I'm cool with that. I didn't want people hating on me, telling me I should quit and shit like that. But I will say, from the beginning, the through line that's really like makes sense with what I'm doing right now is I was always, from song number one, from the first song that I ever made, that I ever released publicly, I was always referencing people, like people at my school, or people, like I ended up making songs for like the football team and the basketball team. And I was always like, this wasn't a line, but I'd be like, wrestle that bitch like Jeff Williams. And Jeff Williams was on like he was like a state championship wrestler. That wasn't a line and that wasn't a person, but it's just like an example of the type of shit I would do. So from the beginning, I was like, how do I incorporate like references? Because that's, I mean, if you want to get somebody listening, like, yo, did you hear he puts you in his song? That's somebody who's going to listen to the song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
doubt.
So from the beginning, I was on the referencing things and topics of songs, and I think I had a gift for that early on, like focuses in my songs, or incorporating references in my songs.
I mean, I don't want to be Jonah Hill here, but your references are out of control. That's cool, man. And then, I mean, we'll wrap up here soon. I know we're coming up on an hour. Sorry it's turned into an interview, but it's interesting.
Yeah, dude, no rush. And if we want to talk more about the movie a little bit, we can too. I'm in no hurry. So
okay. Do you, so I know you, and forgive us if this is prying. So you're a sober, have you been have you found that since you got sober, that's contributed to an easier flow of creativity, or do you, have you found that your success has grown out of your sobriety?
100%. 100%. When I was like boozing the worst and off drugs the worst, I was barely making any music. And when I did, it was just like I would drink enough or get high enough to be like, and when I say get high, I mean like cocaine.
Sure.
Like get high enough to be like you're feeling good rap. And that's what it was. Like at my worst, even when I was making music, it'd be like you're in the studio with a bunch of other dudes and they're all popping pills and sipping shit, and it's almost more about the party than it is even recording a song. And you just like, you'll get up the next day like hungover and listen to what you recorded and you're like, oh god, that fucking sucks. Like we thought that was good last night.
All the time, dude. You're talking to somebody who's had enough beers where I'm hearing you over my heartbeat in my headphones right now. So you're preaching to the choir. And I mean, that's cool. I mean, when you got sober and you started making the music and stuff, and has making the music helped you stay sober because you're finding another outlet there?
100%. Because I think part of the thing with the music was, well, if I look back, it was kind of like, I was making music or whatever in high school, then got out of high school. People kind of stopped paying attention to the music because my music was pretty big by the end of high school. Like by my senior year, I was like known at my school as the rapper. Like people playing my songs at parties, and like people at neighboring schools were like trying to put disses out on me to start beef and shit. Like I was a big deal rap wise in high school. Every time the football team came out, they were playing my song. It was going well. And then everybody left after high school and people kind of stopped paying attention, and I didn't really capitalize on things that I should have. I kind of thought the wave was just going to keep going. And at the same time was when I kind of started boozing heavy and partying a lot, and then also like drinking alone and doing drugs alone and shit. So then the rest of my, basically from 20 to 25 was just not making a lot of music, kind of disappearing, less and less people listening, more and more time in between things dropping. And then around like 25 or so started to get sober. And actually it wasn't making music that like kept me sober early on. And even when I was fucked up, I had already gotten into like O&A and Skanks and a bunch of comedy and podcasts and stuff. But that really, when I first got sober, I was on probation for 2 years. So I couldn't smoke either. That's all I do now is smoke weed a little bit. That's all I really touch. And that's like a big crutch not to have when you go from like you're drinking, you're smoking, you're snorting all the time, and then you go to like now you're just not doing anything because you got to stay sober off booze and you're on probation. So my life was me trying to be sober, me living with my mom, staying in my bunk bed from childhood at 25 years old, going to my job that would only let me work 3 times a week, going to residential neighborhoods and picking up dog shit for $75 a day. Walmart wouldn't even hire me based on my recent charges at that time. A guy with a face tattoo told me that they wouldn't accept my application there.
Damn.
So
I'm sorry.
No, it's funny now. I have a lot of stories from these times that are very funny now. Looking back, it wasn't funny then, but it is funny now. But just that was where I really, really fell in love with comedy, because that was the escape and trying to laugh. And I saw people like Louis J. Gomez and Dan Soder who had been through tragedies even worse than I had been through in life. And I was like, these guys can still laugh at it, and not even just laugh at it. They turned it into a career. And that's where my juices started flowing on like, well, we'll see what ends up happening with music. But, I might actually, me and my boy, maybe we can actually like do this podcasting stuff. We're both big O&A fans. We could do like a show talking about like O&A stuff, and that's what we were thinking at the time. And then right around that time, and this was around the time that I was sober and I was getting less and less miserable. I was starting to get off probation. That was right around the corner, and I started having a little bit of life start to show up in my eyes, and think maybe things could be all right. It was still a struggle. And then right around that time, kind of planning for a podcast with my friend and figuring out what we were going to do. The rap Crack Amico contest was brought into the ether, and that was the moment that I said, this is like, I feel like this is almost divine. Like I feel like this is like a message from the universe, not to sound like a hippie girl with dreads and crystals or anything, but like this is like a message from the universe that it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this music thing or not. It went really well for a few years, had potential, and then it kind of just fell flat. Nobody's paying attention anymore. I know I still have the skill, but this is the sign. If I do this and I win this contest, I'll make music. If I don't, if it doesn't work out, then maybe that's done. Maybe I could do something podcasting. Maybe I can still find some kind of 9-to-5 job that'll make me happy. Because I at least had my girl throughout all of this. So it wasn't complete darkness. I still had a lady that I really loved, that I'm still with to this day and engaged to now. And luckily she stayed with me. She was the one who helped me get sober, and probably would have never happened without her. So
nice.
So I was, I had optimism just about kind of life in general with that. Definitely still feeling like a loser, but yeah, that's when the Crack Amico contest happened, and I was like, shit. And then from there, that's just been, you've seen what's been going on.
Popped on. It does feel like with the Crack Amico contest and everything. It feels like, and especially you just giving us that background, like stars aligning, at the right place, right time, right dude, and you're just killing it. And I know you're a big Dan Soder fan. You're a big Louis J. Skanks fan. I've been recently going through, I drive a lot for work. I've been going back through the Ron and Fez catalog, and it is just blowing my mind. Do you ever listen to any Ron Bennington?
I listened to some clips back in the day. Most of what I listened to with them was when there was like some crossover between O&A and them. Like if
Afro shows.
Yeah, those, and like if Opie like made fun of Fez crying or something, and they'd play audio on their show. And a couple times I was like, this show sounds funny. So I like looked up some of the best of like Ron and Fez clips, but I never really got into like just searching it on like an episode by episode basis. But everything that I heard was funny.
Oh yeah, dude, they're incredible. And that's another, Ron Bennington, another sober guy who has some pretty tragic shit happen to him. I mean, most of the tragic stuff that happened in his life was his doing. He's kind of like he's been sober a long time, but he's kind of like Artie Lang, what could have been. So when I did stand up, I actually went to Artie Lang's house and did a podcast with him and Lurch, Sam Morrell. And so I went to Artie Lang's penthouse in Hoboken, and I was like super into comedies. When Lauren, when you speaking about having like a rock, I met Lauren. I was a loser who just did stand up. I couldn't hold a job, and I went to Artie's fucking house in Hoboken, or his apartment, and I was like so psyched to meet him, and it was a great experience. But he answered the door with just blood pouring out of his nose, and he just kept dabbing a bandana at it the entire night. And this is like like you can't church up a guy who's never going to be like classy. And Artie Lang was fantastic, like the kind of guy who kept trying to give me gas money for the ride home, like back to Baltimore. He's like, oh, what are you doing? We got to give you gas money. But the entire time we're doing his podcast, he's sitting on his couch in his living room overlooking the New York skyline, and he's ashing cigarettes on his floor. He's just fucking ashing cigarettes on his floor. But I mean, I'm always so fascinated by like, because we obviously smoke weed and stuff. I've never done cocaine. Lauren's never done cocaine, but like, I'm always fascinated hearing people talk, like especially creative people talk about like it gripping them up. Like, did you feel that? Did you like? I know you like. Were you just partying a lot, or was it like? I'm sorry if this is prying, or was it like you were struggling to not do it? Do you know what I mean? Because I think about some friends I have who party a lot, but I don't know if they have like problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and it's not prying. I feel like I'm far enough past these stories that like it's almost kind of fun to talk about now. It almost feels like I'm talking about a different guy at this point. I've like separated myself from it where I can actually like joke about it and look at it in a funny way. But yeah, for me, everything that I ever tried was kind of a different level of addiction. Alcohol by far leagues and levels above anything else had the strongest grip on me.
Sure.
That was by far the worst drug that I've ever gotten addicted to the point where when alcohol is the only one that once I start drinking, I can't stop. I'm drinking until I pass out. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'm drinking again. I have to drink all day long and just keep that feeling going. Cocaine was more of and look, anytime that I was doing coke, nobody should be doing coke, but like broke people definitely shouldn't be.
Right.
You don't have the money for it. So like, it was always just, I'm sure if I would have had the money I would have been much more addicted to coke, but I just didn't have enough. I was a weekend warrior when it came to coke. Just work during the week and drink all day, every day. And then when you get to the weekend, everybody's pulling the bags out and you can do it. And it's never enough, it's never enough for the night. And then, do it for the weekend. And then just Monday morning, you're kind of just feeling like shit over it. But again, like just didn't have enough money for it. Probably most of the coke that I got was on favors or that I would pay the person back that gave it to me, to be honest. So,
I'm sure.
and then pills I could never get into because I was such a heavy drinker that anytime that I took any pills, especially Xanax, I would black out immediately. Anytime that I've ever taken Xanax is like, I almost completely ruined my fucking life. So I couldn't really touch pills because I would just black out immediately. So really, and I never did heroin, never did crack. I think some of the stuff I snorted might have been meth a few different times, but I can't confirm that. But those were two that I was like, I can't touch those. I can't fuck with those. So it was really just my biggest issues were by far alcohol and coke made me make quite a few bad decisions and put some holes in my nose to where my nose still has some issues to this day. But I almost think that was more from like the Klonopin with binders in it that I was snorting.
Right. Now you're preaching again to the choir. I talk about bad decisions. I used to take like 5 Vyvanse and I would wake up with like, dude, I swear to God, like 600 pictures in my camera roll of my iPod Touch of Gianna Michaels. Because I couldn't jerk off because I had so much amphetamines running through my system that I would just go through and save still pornographic images off of Google Images. And I'd be like, I'll get to those later. And that's like between like reading like, the Wikipedia page for the Caesar salad and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Like amphetamines and like uppers are wild to me. I like to be, that to me, it doesn't get much better than weed. It does everything you need it to do. But
yeah,
like,
I'll be honest. I couldn't imagine doing coke by itself. I've never done that in my life, and I never would. To me, it was always drinking was a downer. So to kind of mix in with that feeling a little bit, you'd take a bump and it would like kind of lift you back up if you were drinking and you were starting to feel a little like pass outy or feeling sloppy. You'd snort some coke and smoke a cigarette and you'd be feeling really good again. So that was what it always was for me.
Your dad taught you that, Caleb, didn't he?
Yeah. He always tried to. My biological father would always tell me if I was too drunk to drive at a party, find cocaine, and I had a 15-minute window to get home. I feel like cocaine, because I'm an fucking idiot, but that shit fucking, when you mix it with alcohol, it turns into a different drug inside of you, right? That's like what gets the grip on people. It turns into like coca-ethylene or something.
It's like chemistry.
Yeah, I don't know the chemistry behind it, but that was my favorite feeling of all time.
Is it really nice?
Yeah, being like 6 to 8 beers deep and snorting a couple lines and just having a fresh, maybe even 2 packs of cigarettes ready to go. And you and your boys just hanging out by your Acura, just smoking cigarettes lit together. That's like probably in all of my like partying. Like I've had some great partying moments. If you picture like parties and crazy shit going down and like rap battles at parties and freestyles at parties. Like there were moments from parties I was like, man, I feel like the shit, and like hookups and stuff like that. But the top 10 by far best moments I ever had on drugs and alcohol was sitting on the hood of an Acura CL, snorting lines and drinking like bush ice with like 2 or 3 of your boys, and just smoking cigarettes all night long.
What's your cigarette of choice? Because you learn a lot about a man learning what kind of cigarettes he likes. And if I can take can I take a guess?
Sure. And by the way, I will say, currently not smoking cigs. I quit in March of this year.
Congratulations. Is this going too far? Is this bringing up? I don't want to entice you with memories of old. Can we talk about cigarettes?
Actually, yeah, as far as this like ranking addiction, cigarettes are actually pretty low for me. I was never really addicted to cigarettes. I would smoke a lot if I drank, and especially if I did coke, but even when I was just smoking for the past like couple years, I would have like 2 a day. I never really got super addicted to cigs. If I smoke too much, my throat hurts. That might just be me being a little sensitive boy, but if I smoke like 10 cigarettes in a day, I'm feeling horrible the next day. Yeah. I just couldn't do it.
It does. It gets it. That also, all the tar seems to settle in your tonsils. I've always noticed that too. Like,
and you're coughing and shit. Yeah.
So are you a Marlboro Black kind of guy?
That's actually my most recent cigarette, and my cigarette for probably, I would say, the past 5 years is Marlboro Menthol Black Shorts.
Wow. What can I say? I've got a gift. I can look at a dude. I should really join a circus. Like the guess my weight or guess my age people. You could line people up. I can tell you what kind of cigarettes they smoke.
That's pretty incredible, man, because that's not like a common cigarette.
No, dude, I just fucking knew it. Like I was watching your videos and I'm like, that's a Mar Black man right there. That's a Mar Black 100%.
Would you have guessed menthol?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Like that's the generals, and then you whittle it down and you go Newport's too obvious, right? He's carving a lane for himself. He's not going to be smoking Newports. And then, you kind of think like, could it be like a Camel Crush? I don't even know if they make those anymore, but I just felt like you're a blue collar. And that's the other thing. You were getting blue collar about your writing. You're getting blue collar. You were blue collar about your drinking. Mm-hmm. If you start to feel yourself coming down, you hit a little PED, a little performance enhancing drug. You had to get the bump to get back to drinking. And a Marlboro Black is a blue collar man's cigarette. That's
the working man's cigarette.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is the cigarette that's going to bring jazz back to the working man.
Yeah. And when I first started smoking, I started smoking cigarettes when I was 16, and then moved to dip, Grizzly Wintergreen Long Cut for a couple of years. And then when I was a senior for probably like 18 to 20, I got really into Camels. Camel Lights, Camel Turkish Royals, Turkish Golds. Classic. And then at some point,
kimono cigarette.
Right. Those were like, I was thinking who the fuck I was when I was smoking those. But like, so, and then eventually I think I hit a point and I might have had to do something with doing drugs or just hanging out with people that smoked menthols. But I got back into menthols, and yeah, since I got back into menthols, my cigarette was, I'd either get Marlboro Menthol Lights or I'd get Marlboro Menthol Black. Both always shorts, never been 100 guy, always a short guy. And Oh yeah, when I would do coke, I would get Marlboro Smooths because they were super minty, and I liked the really minty cigarettes like a Newport or a Marlboro Smooth when I was high on coke.
All right, you're a distinguished man with distinguished tastes.
Mhm.
You mentioned fucking Grizzly Wintergreen. I come from such a white trash piece of shit family that the first time that I got weed, I hid it in my empty tin of Skull Peach because I was like, oh, no one will think to look in there. I fucking loved chewing tobacco, dude. I used to have like recipes. Like I would take the Skull Extra Crisp and mix it with the Skull Vanilla, and it would taste like apple pie a la mode. I had fucking I fucking loved chewing tobacco. Grizzly Wintergreen was good, but do you ever get a little gator lip?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would. And dude, at the time, I don't know if you remember, but it's like, dude, when you and your friends found out that dip was a thing and like tried it, and you just like you and your boy just sit down on like a curb and take a lip, like that feeling when you first start dip, it was like it almost felt like, does anybody know about this? Like, is this like a cheat code? Like, this has been around the whole fucking time. Like, cause like the cigarette buzz is one thing. You're like, I feel like take a nice deep breath, exhale. The original dip buzz, and I feel like much like cocaine, like the first 5 times you dip, you're chasing that same feeling after, and you never really get it again. But the first handful of times that I did dip, I felt like I was like floating through the fucking stars. I was like, this is amazing.
My first dip, you're 100% right. I did Copenhagen Natural in the silver can. Tasted like a salty campfire. I put it in. I took maybe 90 seconds. I looked at my cousin and I said, alert the press, because we have got something special here. But then you're right. It's like the law of diminishing returns. You do it the next time and you're like, this is fucking nice. And then like a week later, you're like, I just have to do this so that I don't feel like shit. Like I do my favorite thing. I would love to go to a restaurant. Like I thought I was such big shit, and I'm not even a country person. I'm just from such a white trash family. I would love to go to, I'm such a piece of shit. I would, as soon as I was done eating, because I think, you know, as a guy who used to dip, as soon as you're done eating, that dip's got to go in.
Yeah.
So I'd be waiting for the check spitting in like a restaurant cup. And now I can't drink out of restaurant cups because I'm like, oh, there's nasty motherfuckers like me just spitting in them all over the fuck God's creation.
Yeah, me and my friends would come back. We'd go off campus for lunch and we'd come back with like McDonald's cups and we'd just spit into our straws and like try not to get called on for a question, because you'd have like a teacher would like call on you and you'd have just like a mouthful of spit.
Oh yeah. The first time you remember Camel Snooze?
Yes.
So a guy named Bo, God rest his soul, fentanyl. he gave me them, and he told me that you were supposed to put one in each like quadrant of your mouth. So I did one on the right, one on the left, on the bottom, and I did 2 upper deckies. And I was in. We're from such a piece of shit place. I was in a class called wildlife management, and we had to watch a fucking video of a guy gutting a deer, and I fucking puked everywhere, like all over the place. And then like years later, he was like, yeah, you know, it was, I thought that was really funny. And then shortly after that, he died. So may God rest his soul. But we also had a guy in my grade. His name was John King. And this is like your like proto retard, like a guy who just has like he almost didn't seem like he was based in reality. He was like 6'6". He wore John Deere branded clothing nonstop, and he would chew tobacco and he would swallow it. And all the teachers would let him swallow it because they were like, I remember that old lesbian I mentioned earlier in the episode, Miss Herbert. She was like, yeah, he's got to be swallowing that, and that's nasty. That's punishment enough. Same guy I also saw, we were in shop class, and he picked up like a fucking like a knife, like a putty knife, and sliced like a kneading stitches fucking gash in his finger, and just stood there and watched it bleed for, I swear to God, maybe 5 minutes, and kept telling people pain is weakness leaving the body.
Whoa.
I still think about him. He also told me that when he lost his virginity, he wrapped his dick in a Walmart bag.
What?
I swear to God, he works at the Jiffy Mart now. Every time I buy Zen, I see him. Fucking great guy. You have a lot of, when you went to high school, I know you were making music and stuff. Did you have anybody like that? Any sort of guy that you just couldn't believe existed?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a particular person. We definitely had some strange people. Now I don't have one popping into my head. If one does, I'll let you know, but I don't have like a wild guy popping into my head.
So you're pretty close to, because I do know in one of your songs you mentioned Fuquay-Varina, correct?
That's correct.
Have you ever thought of referring to yourself as the Fuquay-Varinian rattlesnake?
Never thought about it, but I'm thinking about it now.
Hell yeah, dude. We're making differences here on Weed Cap Radio.
Yeah, or at least the North Carolinian or the Carolinian rattlesnake.
I just thought something sounded, because when I heard that in your song, I had to Google Fuquay-Varina, and it sounds like a really classy place, but I'm imagining it might not be.
It's not. It's definitely not. And it's yeah, I mean it sounds like I've heard it my whole life, so I can only imagine what that name of a town sounds like to somebody who's never heard it.
I'm picturing like fucking dudes on gondolas, like paddling through a channel. Fuquay-Varina. It's honestly, it's the silk robe of town names, if we're being completely transparent.
The name is great, and I'll tell you, it's not classy. I'll say that it's not classy, but it's not like dangerous. It's there's families and stuff, but instead of like the gondolas you're picture a dirt covered asphalt road with a truck riding down it with a giant antenna with tennis balls on it, and like the ass in the air and the hood like pointed towards the sky, driving by you. That's
you're
what's
chopped
happening.
and screwed down there in Fuquay.
Yeah, it's a little rednecky.
What's the Bojangles ratio in Fuquay-Varina?
Oh, there's plenty.
Damn.
There's
That
plenty of
place
Bojangles.
Shit, dude.
We don't have them here.
No, we don't have them here. Is there any, because I know we've been going for like an hour and a half. We'll wrap up here shortly. What do you rank because I'm always interested in talking to people from other cultures. What is your go-to Carolina spot for like a Carolina specific food or a restaurant? What does the crack eat?
Are we talking fast food?
Anything, whatever you when I said that, whatever pops in your head, I want to know.
Cookout. I think and I've heard people get cookout in different areas like Texas and other kinds of places. I don't know what's going on with those, but you have to go to a North Carolina cookout. And sometimes, I mean, that's the nature of the game since the pandemic is like any fast food restaurant, you never know if it's going to be shitty and the service is going to be bad and the food's going to be shitty. But when you find a good cookout, it's one of the only fast food places that's still somehow cheap. There's such a variety. The atmosphere is amazing. The cheer wine is delicious, which is
cheer wine.
Yeah, and the cheer wine, and they have the cookout ice, which is sort of like the Sonic ice. They have, I think, over 100 milkshakes.
I've been to a cookout one time. I was out of my mind on some sort of research chemical that was sold to me as LSD. And I asked the guy at the counter for a big fucking Dr. Pepper, and that's what he put on the receipt. Fucking love that. Cookout, I couldn't eat. I did order, I believe, a hot dog, but when it came out, it was looking a little wavy for my taste. So I just stuck with the big fucking Dr. Pepper. But I do hear really good things about Cookout, mostly from like the NASCAR community online. They sponsor quite a bit of NASCAR stuff, and that's blue collar as it gets right there.
Yeah, I'm a big Cookout guy. I think you go Chick-fil-A for consistency as far as quality of food and quality of service. And Bojangles I love when it's good, but You go to Bojangles when you got some time on your hands. You don't go to Bojangles in a rush. They take their time over there. That's the only thing I don't fuck with about Bojangles. And the sweet tea, if I'm being honest, it could be better.
Well, they're putting the
Yeah.
casual and fast casual. You know,
Yeah, they're very casual.
they're very casual. Like, there's a Bojangles on the way down to the Outer Banks, and every time you stop in, it almost. I don't want to. You know, I'm not a political person, but it almost seems like every Bojangles, they just hate white people. I don't know if that's how it is down where you're at, but sometimes you stop in these ones right outside of like Richmond, and it's almost like you hear a record scratch when you walk through the door.
Yeah, that's almost I didn't want to come out and say it, but it's like,
Sorry.
you get to thinking like why are these people taking so long? Maybe people are showing up late. Maybe
Yeah.
people aren't showing up to work on time. Maybe they're a little lazy.
I mean, look, we're not taking a hard stance on anything here at Weed Cap Radio, but you have to wonder, what's going on with the work ethic of the average Bojangles employee. I don't know what the average Bojangles employee looks like. I'd have to get some sort of data from their corporate center, but I think I have a pretty good idea.
I've been to hundreds of Bojangles, and I would say you're pretty accurate in your assessment.
There's always an Impala parked by the dumpsters, and that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. And by the way, the last thing that I want to say about the movie.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up with the movie for sure.
While I'm thinking about it, like I said, it was my first time seeing the movie. Great movie, enjoyed it. Still don't. I'm not gonna put it up there with not gonna put it up there with Goodfellas or Casino.
Fair.
But a great movie, very fun, and I will say I popped at the end.
Right?
The end where specifically the end where they're coming down in the elevator and Leo gets shot.
Yes.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I love this too. I love this part too, and it was enjoyable. The Mark Wahlberg coming in at the end to kill him, but I don't know that I needed that. I almost think I might have liked it if you got the feeling, like they didn't explain it, but you get the feeling that Matt Damon was going to get away with it.
I agree with you. Actually,
That's how I thought it was going to end.
Yeah, like it almost felt like the Mark Wahlberg at the end, especially with the little fucking surgeon booties on. It kind of felt like that was like fan service, but it didn't need to happen because it was almost like the funeral scene. It could have ended with Matt Damon realizing Leonardo DiCaprio has been fucking his bitch, which is something that every man has to deal with at some point in their lives. So it would have been like a universal kind of struggle that people would have to realize, but it could have ended with the funeral.
Yeah, and sort of an open-ended, like, is she going to tell on him or not? I guess we'll have to wonder kind of thing, which I usually don't like a loose end at the end of the movie, but I would have been fine with it there, and I would have preferred that. The reason that I give them that I don't hate the Mark Wahlberg ending is you did kind of forget about him.
Yeah.
And he comes back and you're like, oh shit, this guy. So it was kind of like, it was cool the way they wrote it to end that way, but I didn't need it. Like you said, it was like, it felt like they were almost doing a thing weirdly in a Scorsese movie, like an adult movie where it was like, where they want to get the audience to be like, well, at least there was a happy ending.
For sure. And also, I don't know how you felt about this, but it almost felt like the killing was just a bit ungratifying. Like, I just felt like it like, and maybe that was the point for it to be anticlimactic, but like the way he just kind of, I don't know, was just like, okay. And then he just shot him and walked out. Like, I didn't need like a big action sequence, but like, it felt like maybe it was missing like one line.
Yeah, I feel like if you were going to do that, you'd either need to have like a very intense, like a few minute scene that's very anxious and tense and you don't know what's going to happen and then he kills him, or just bullet through his head right when he walks through the door to catch you off guard. But the weird, like, kind of, it was just weird how Matt Damon kind of just stared at him for a couple seconds and nothing really happened, and then he shoots him. But I guess that's maybe more realistic to what it would be like.
Yeah. You know, before we wrap up here, one last observation is that they made Matt Damon impotent. He couldn't get his dick hard, and it served no purpose in the movie. Like, they went out of their direction.
I think was supposed to, because we were going to put 2 and 2 together, that it was Leo's baby that she was having. Because he's incompetent. That's what I said when she said she was pregnant. I'm like, how? He didn't even get it up. Right, but like, they had to have fucked at some point, because if you haven't fucked this woman and she shows you a sonogram, you're gonna have to Ike Turner. Like, you're sleeping and she wakes you up and shows you a sonogram and you haven't fucked her. Like, we haven't even. You might as well call the police, because there's gonna be some domestic violence. Like, so they had to have fucked at some point. So like, all of that, it just didn't go anywhere. And maybe that's an artistic choice, because he didn't go anywhere. Right. But I just thought that was like a weird little thing that they threw in there.
That is weird. I think maybe the only symbolism that could have is sort of like the same symbolism of the whatever it is, like the state building when he walks in the hotel, the like gold dome kind of represents like everything that he wants and his aspirations and like his material obsessions, and maybe the impotence kind of goes along with the fact that he needs these material things and he needs money and he needs this power to feel like a man.
I feel that Golden Dome looked a little too Little St. James to me. If I'm being
that was the first thing I thought when I saw it.
Yeah, dude, that was 100% like it might as well have been a background on a set of Ellen. Like, that was fucking ridiculous. That was Epstein all the way. But hey, man, we can wrap. I really appreciate you doing this. Is there anything you want to plug? I know you got a lot of stuff in the works. I will go ahead and plug one thing for you. If you need any sort of song made, Crack Amico is your guy. Yes. Fucking, we have gotten so many compliments on the song you did. So we really appreciate you doing that. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I put it on a loop and listen to it while I shower. Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. It's like that. Do you have anything you want to plug, dude?
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. If anybody's listening and they need a personal song or a song for their business or their podcast, email me at Crack Amico Rap, crackamicorap@gmail.com. If you're listening and you have no idea who I am, definitely check out the music. That's like that's the whole thing that's keeping everything going. YouTube.com/Crack Amico. Just listen through some songs, some music videos. Very proud of those. And then not so proud of my streaming, but I'm getting better. So also check out my streams. I got a schedule online to find all that. Go to my socials. I'm at Crack Amico RAP, at Crack Amico Rap on Instagram and Twitter. Bunch of cool shit on there. And if you feel inclined to support, check out the patreon.com/Crack Amico. It's only $1 to join. I've got tiers on there for bonus streams. There's exclusive songs you've never heard from me before, which if you don't know who I am, I guess that's all of them. But either way, check it out. Patreon.com/Crack Amico, YouTube.com/Crack Amico, and at Crack Amico Rap on Twitter and Instagram.
Hell yeah, dude. You won't regret it checking it out. And let's be honest, you don't need another Marlboro Black if you're listening. You just put $1 towards Crack Amico's Patreon and save your health. It's Crack Amico. He's giving you health for 2025. Thanks for joining us, man. I'm going to end the stream if you don't mind staying on for a second so the audio can sync. And we really appreciate you doing this. It was fun. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate y'all having me. It was fun. Thank you, man.
I'm going to play the music out. Here we go.
Okay, we cap radio, bong hits and cameos. That's a perfect ratio. Yeah, let's get high and watch a movie, blowing bomb haze. Me and my fiance, we cap all day. Let's get high and watch a movie.